They get that back.
Sign it.
Yeah, sign the contract. But I want to take everything. I ain't leaving nothing. I want to take everything.
When people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. Like, you don't know me. Like, you feel me? And I don't give a fuck. If everybody that cool with, I mean, what?
Same question for you, proud father.
After months of speculation, unfinished negotiations, and non-stop rumors, Gervonta Davis has finally spoken out, delivering a direct and fiery message that immediately caught attention across the boxing world. In his response, Davis aimed his words at Terence Crawford, escalating tensions with a bold challenge that quickly spread online and reignited talk of a potential clash that had been quiet for some time. His "sign the contract" statement added even more fuel to the situation, making it clear that frustration and rivalry are still very much alive. At the same time, the sport remains divided by two different paths. Crawford continues to stand at the top of boxing as an undefeated and undisputed champion, fresh off a major statement victory at super middleweight that strengthened his legacy across multiple divisions. Meanwhile, discussions are also ongoing about future megafights and historic opportunities involving major promoters and advisors like Turki Alalshik, keeping Crawford's name at the center of boxing's biggest upcoming possibilities.
Mayweather or Crawford?
Crawford all day long.
Be surprised at how good Crawford was in there with Canelo.
I always said to everyone that Crawford is a fantastic fighter. Skill, movement, he has everything that it takes to become the best. And there's no one there to touch him in this game. So when the Canelo fight was announced with Crawford, I said to everyone that Crawford's gonna win. People looked at me like, "Are you sure? Like, is he big enough?" I go, "Trust me, Crawford is big enough, he's strong enough, and he can beat Canelo." And guess what? He went.
Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis has been going through a challenging stretch in his career, with several setbacks and controversies shaping recent months. A controversial draw against Lamont Roach Jr. sparked debate among fans and analysts, while a high-profile matchup involving Jake Paul collapsed amid legal issues and complications outside the ring. Combined with a long period away from active competition, these developments have fueled growing criticism and renewed questions about how Davis's legacy will ultimately be judged in the years to come.
Davis is not the face of boxing because he doesn't fight often. He fights once a year, and he's probably one of the best talents in the world. I love Tank Davis. I love watching him fight. I love when he goes in the ring and just demonstrates power and speed, and he doesn't give a sh**. I love that. But he has to fight more often. We want to see Tank fight 3-4 times a year. Tank Davis, I dare you to break my record. 5 world title fights in 1 year. Let's go.
You think he's lost?
So what's really driving Gervonta Davis to suddenly target pound-for-pound star Terence Crawford? To understand it properly, you have to go back and trace how this tension originally started. This isn't something that appeared out of nowhere. It has been building slowly over time through repeated exchanges, social media comments, and subtle verbal shots from both sides. Long before any real possibility of a fight was discussed, there were already moments where Davis and Crawford were indirectly challenging each other's status, trading confidence and competitive pride in public spaces. Over the years, those small sparks gradually turned into a visible rivalry, making the idea of a potential clash feel less like fantasy and more like something the boxing world can no longer ignore.
If I'm a boxer, he a boxer, you a boxer, we all need the money. Thank you.
The latest surge in tension reportedly started after Terence Crawford shared a short post implying that certain fighters were upset about not being invited to a Ring magazine event. Although he never directly mentioned anyone, the message was widely interpreted as a subtle jab, and it quickly caught the attention of Gervonta Davis. Davis didn't ignore it for long. He responded almost immediately, clearly taking issue with the remark and reacting with visible irritation. That brief exchange was enough to reignite speculation about growing friction between the two, adding fresh heat to an already sensitive rivalry. After that exchange, tensions between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford escalated quickly. Davis made comments about financial status, suggesting he earns more, while Crawford responded in a composed but sharp tone, shifting the focus to discipline, business mindset, and how both fighters can afford success at the highest level. The back and forth then turned more personal, with Davis questioning Crawford's motivation and legacy, implying he is driven more by big fights than pure competition. Things intensified further when Davis made an offensive remark involving Crawford's family, which he later removed, but screenshots had already spread widely online, drawing strong reactions from fans and media and pushing the rivalry into even more serious territory.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
The tension between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford has now moved beyond simple trash talk, with things becoming personal and the respect between them clearly fading. Crawford has always been the kind of fighter who lets his performances in the ring do the talking, while Davis is known for raising the heat outside the ring, and this contrast has left fans wondering if a real super fight could eventually happen. However, Crawford's current position in boxing is dominant. He remains undefeated and has already secured major wins over elite names like Errol Spence Jr., Israel Madrimov, and Canelo Alvarez, controlling multiple divisions with options still open at 154, 160, and even 168, with some even suggesting a potential move to 175 if he continues chasing legacy over comfort.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Right now, Terence Crawford is being targeted by nearly every elite fighter in the division, with the entire boxing landscape focused on him as the main attraction. Even major decision-makers in the sport have taken serious notice, as Saudi Arabia continues to explore massive event opportunities centered around his name. Influential figures such as Turki Al-Sheikh have also publicly framed Crawford as a once-in-a-generation talent, treating him as a global superstar capable of headlining the biggest and most high-profile nights in boxing.
Crawford and Canelo, I'm pretty sure.
Shakur and Tank?
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope. But if Tank was not so cocky to be on a Terence Crawford undercard, that would be dope. But I don't see Tank taking a backseat to.
On the other side, Gervonta Davis is focused on rebuilding momentum and shifting attention back to his performances in the ring. His recent draw with Lamont Roach Jr. sparked major debate, especially over a controversial knee moment that many fans believe should have been ruled a knockdown. The incident triggered widespread discussion about scoring decisions, while also raising fresh questions about Davis's sharpness, ring awareness, and overall form at this stage of his career. Terence Crawford further stirred debate during his appearance on Club Shay Shay, where he suggested that Lamont Roach Jr. deserved the win in his fight against Gervonta Davis. He also implied that Davis may have entered the bout too confident and failed to fully respect Roach as a legitimate threat. Those comments reportedly struck a nerve with Davis and added more tension to an already sensitive situation. To make matters worse, The cancellation of Davis's planned fight with Jake Paul due to legal complications only increased the pressure and criticism surrounding his recent career path.
Versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank.
Gervonta Davis needed a reset after a difficult stretch in his career, but instead of a clean comeback narrative, he has been surrounded by controversy, legal distractions, and a cancelled fight that kept him out of the ring. While Davis maintains that Jake Paul withdrew for his own reasons, the bigger issue was the damage to his public image, as attention shifted away from his knockouts and victories toward offering drama and negative headlines. In boxing, when momentum slips like this, fighters often look for the biggest possible name to restore their relevance, and right now that conversation naturally points toward Terence Crawford. However, the situation didn't start with Davis. It escalated from Crawford's side, beginning with subtle remarks about Davis not being invited to the Ring magazine gala, followed by sharper criticism of his resume, opposition level, and recent behavior. Crawford even suggested that Davis isn't in the same financial or competitive position and relies too heavily on certain matchups for visibility. Those comments landed heavily, especially considering Crawford's current status at the peak of the sport after major fights against elite names like Canelo Alvarez, while Davis continues working to rebuild stability and reclaim the dominant spotlight he once controlled.
Wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. That makes a difference to people.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era.
And that's where the situation really changes. Imagine Gervonta Davis in that position. Someone who built his name as a major attraction, a knockout specialist, and a fighter capable of filling arenas in cities like Atlanta and Las Vegas while drawing celebrities and massive crowds. For years, he was seen as one of boxing's biggest stars and a future face of the sport. But as time has passed, the momentum has shifted. Setbacks, debates within his division, and changes in the pound-for-pound conversation have slowly moved the spotlight elsewhere. Now, instead of being the central figure in every discussion, Davis finds himself being evaluated, questioned, and compared more critically than before. That shift in perception is what makes this moment so important, because for the first time in a long while, he is not the one controlling the narrative. He is the one being analyzed, and that change in status is what has started to bring visible frustration to the surface.
Is that where we stand right now with Canelo Crawford? Yeah. Is that where we stand with Canelo Crawford? Because you're saying just because both are great, everybody wants to face each other. So is that where we're at right now with Canelo Crawford?
No. Crawford needs the money.
Crawford needs the money? Yeah, he needs the money. He had a chance to win.
And another thing, bro, I don't be wanting to, how these guys is, then you get hurt against
Madrimov?
Who?
There you talking about Crawford got touched by Madrimov? Is that what you're saying?
You got clipped by Gamboa, right? Right? What the fuck is he? He's looking this strong over the past year. These years. He ain't been getting clipped or nothing. So now, that's that snack shit. I'm telling you. Y'all laughing, I'm telling you. And that guy that a part of it, he been caught before. He went to jail.
So when Terence Crawford issued a blunt message questioning Gervonta Davis and suggesting he wouldn't be on his level, the reaction came quickly. Davis responded instantly with a public sign the contract call-out, making sure the message was loud enough to spread across social media and ignite fan debate. Still, beyond the drama, the reality of a potential Crawford versus Tank fight is far more complicated. The size difference alone is significant, with Crawford competing at super middleweight around 168 pounds, while Davis is naturally a lightweight moving between 135 and 140, creating a major physical mismatch in strength and reach. On top of that, Crawford is coming off elite-level competition against Saul Alvarez, while Davis is still working through recent setbacks, including the controversial Lamont Roach Jr. fight and other distractions outside the ring, widening the gap between where both fighters currently stand in the sport.
You know, you got arrested. I mean, any thoughts on that one?
You did, huh? Again?
Yeah, again.
You know, I mean, hey, look, I actually like Tank Davis. He's a good, he's a good kid. He's a good fighter, a great fighter, actually. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, just get your... That's it, you know, basically. Just shit, you don't hit women, man. Yeah!
Terence Crawford is now 37 and firmly in the stage of his career where every decision is focused on legacy-defining fights at the highest level of boxing. In contrast, Gervonta Davis is 30 and still working to rebuild rhythm, consistency, and momentum after recent setbacks. As a result, both fighters are essentially operating on completely different timelines and career paths, moving in separate directions within the sport despite being linked through ongoing speculation and fan debate.
He would never even think about to come up to 154.
What about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Because I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your...
I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just... one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah,
but like his core personality and his way.
And yet the tension between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford is impossible to ignore, because the verbal exchanges have already gone past the point of casual hype and now feel like a genuine rivalry that fans are fully invested in every time either name appears online. What began as speculation has slowly turned into one of boxing's most talked about storylines, creating a sense of real matchup energy rather than fantasy talk. Still, the reality benefits both fighters in different ways. Crawford remains locked into a legacy-driven phase, focused on the biggest possible fights at the highest level, while Davis is in a rebuilding period, working to regain rhythm, consistency, and dominance after recent setbacks. In the end, Crawford is operating as a champion chasing historical greatness, while Davis is navigating a redemption arc where every performance matters in restoring his place at the very top of the sport.
Out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely technician. I mean, like Crawford said, you know, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford.
Which raises the real question. Does Gervonta Davis genuinely want to fight with Terence Crawford, or is he simply using Crawford's name to stay at the center of boxing conversations? Because Crawford is not comparable to names like Ryan Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz, Rolando Romero, or Frank Martin, he represents an entirely different level of opposition. His style combines elite technical control, fight-ending power, stance switching, and the ability to break opponents mentally while shutting down their offense completely. This creates a major stylistic problem for Davis, whose game relies heavily on timing counters and exploiting openings. Against Crawford, those openings are far harder to find, because his system is built specifically to neutralize reactions, control distance, and force
Crawford has
opponents
pushed
into
through
uncomfortable
grueling
positions
cardio
where
sessions,
adjustments become nearly
explosive strength
impossible.
training, and